live on YouTube. Today is Wednesday, the 15th of October, 2025, and if things go well, I'm going to be here maybe for a couple of hours. For those who don't know me yet, I'm a therapist and coach, and I use my free time here to talk about mental health, therapy, psychology, and anything to do with human behavior and how we can change any aspect of our reality from those places. So if you have an interest in that, do engage with me, ask me, and I'll be delighted to give you as many hopefully actionable recommendations as I can. The way I start my live streams are always by reading some of my own posts and commenting on them. And so I'm going to do this, and hopefully by the time I'm done, there'll be some people watching me and asking me anything that would like to ask me about their mental health. Okay, let's get started. The first post goes like this. The journey of self-awareness can feel very lonely at first, when you realize that everyone lives in their bubble of reality, but there's nothing that you can do about it. Until one day, you start to meet people that are on the same journey as you. And so this is really to highlight how we are all living in our little bubble, and no one experiences the same reality as anyone else. But when we start to change and grow and expand our level of self-awareness, we tend to realize that a lot of people are going to not appreciate this, not want us to change, and we will have to create a space between us and them because we need to focus on our own personal growth. But the good news is that at some point, we also realize that we will meet many people just like us who are on the same journey, and that's when things start to become more interesting. Let me read the first comment. We've got Grand Kelnem, hello from Norway. Hello, Grand Kelnem. Nacho Bees, hello as well. So let me continue again, guys. I'm going to read and comment on some of my posts until I have some questions from you, and then we can start a conversation about anything you'd like me to talk about. Next post. The world is ever expanding. The ability to challenge and upgrade your own belief when presented with new information is your greatest asset. So now we're talking about growth mindset. The world is constantly changing, growing, evolving, moving forward, and so must we. Sometimes people say, why change a system that works? Because the universe is constantly expanding, and we must keep up with that, otherwise we're going to be left behind. And so typically, a lot of people who are really, really adamant on sticking to some traditions and school of thoughts, they are typically the sort of people who would suffer from this, the inability to challenge their own belief system. And there's a term for that. There's a subconscious bias called the Semmelweis reflex. Essentially, it's the inability to challenge our existing belief, even when presented with absolute evidence of this, because of some emotional attachment we have with the old belief. So we all experience this in some capacity, but some of us more than others, and it's really a big hindrance in the trajectory of our evolution together as a species. Next post. Choosing to be loyal to the people who hurt you is like choosing to be loyal to pain and manipulation. And so again, we're back to belief and the reason as to why we do things. We don't realize that a lot of things that we do is out of habit. We have some emotional, subconscious attachment to some things. Because of that, we just do those things, but it doesn't make sense. We are often loyal to people who hurt us, people who have always hurt us. And now I'm talking about dysfunctional family, narcissistic parents, for instance, or siblings, or old friends. And we believe that we must allow them to keep hurting us, because otherwise we're not loyal to them, so we are a bad person. And it really is a toxic belief because it doesn't produce anything positive for anyone. Nacho Bees, thumbs up 3 times. Okay, let me carry on with my post. Next one. You're not suffering because of those who are on the other side, no matter which side you are on. You're suffering because of a system that has created 2 sides and making us all believe that the problem is the other side. So now we're talking a little bit about politics, about societal problems, and the reason, but it's also a psychological issue. Any system of society has created a narrative, and basically one of the narrative that has worked very well for a long time is to create an illusion of division, us versus them. And so typically we can see this in the UK, in the USA, in many parts of the world. There's the right and the left. And what people don't realize is that we've been conditioned to believe that there are two clans and that our tribe is better than the others. But really, the way that I see it is good cop, bad cops. They're both, at the top of it, they're both as bad. They just manipulate and take advantage of people. And they do this by creating that fear, that division, that hatred of the others. And we're all looking in the wrong place. We should be really looking at changing the whole system altogether, not just trying to attack the others, because us versus them is part of the narrative that the system has created to control us. Next post. Let's go back to psychology. Intrusive thoughts are not the problem. The problem is that you believe them. And this is to highlight how thoughts are just thoughts. We don't need to believe all of our thoughts. We don't need to obey all of them. We don't need to take all of them seriously and to believe that they are all true. A lot of our thoughts are just silly and they just pass by for whatever reason, and it doesn't matter. But if we can realize this, we can let go of some thoughts that are uncomfortable, for instance. And so when we suffer from intrusive thoughts, it's because we don't know this. We believe that whatever is happening in our head is very important, and I must sustain my attention and hold those thoughts inside of me and keep on reiterating them for whatever time, all night long, or non-stop, until it affects our behavior and our quality of life. Okay. So now, I don't have any comment yet, so I'm going to continue. Please, guys, feel safe. I'm creating that space to make sure that everyone can speak out. Yeah, I've got something from Grankranem. What are your thoughts? Non-duality. I initially got interested in your channel because of your insight when it comes to consciousness and the mind. So I'm not sure. Could you ask me a question, a specific bullet point question, so that I can understand what you want? What is my thought about non-duality? It's a vague question. The way that I understand what you just said, and correct me if I'm wrong, is just that to me, we're all part of one big mass and infinite mass of energy, and consciousness is this. There's one huge universal consciousness, and the reason why we are experiencing our human experience is because we have forgotten that. Because we need to, basically, the universe is one, and the universe needs to expand. And so for it to expand, it has to fragment itself so that it can experience things from different perspectives. As long as the universe sees what it is from its standpoint, nothing happens. But if it can fragment itself and be zillions of people and animals and different things and experience all of those things from all those perspectives, then that's when it can expand. And so we are essentially a fragment of the universe. We are a chunk of God, and we have forgotten this because we need to experience what it is to be a human being. We need to experience what it is to be us, to be an ego, to go through our trials and tribulations and the whole full spectrum of human sensations, feelings, emotions, and states, so that we can expand through our own human expansion. We can expand the whole universe. I hope it makes sense. So this is what I read from your question. Is that what you meant? So this is very spiritual, but again, anything to do with psychology and spirituality, I'm more than happy to talk about. But again, when I address spirituality, I'm not really talking from the position of someone who studies all the religions and spiritual thoughts. It's just my own personal insight and how I believe some belief can be actually helpful for psychology. For some people who suffer from all sort of problems, sometimes holistic or spiritual solutions can be better for them. And so it's not about finding a system that works for everyone. It's really understanding that we're all different, and we all understand a different language, a different energy, a different kind of logic, narrative. And so for some people, expanding their spiritual belief can absolutely help them deal with depression, anxiety, addiction, or any of those things and more. Trauma. Grand Kernem, yes, that seemed like an insightful answer. Thank you. All right, okay. If you want me to be more specific, please do ask me more specific questions. Christina Williams, my female boss keeps being nasty and abusive to me because she is jealous of me. How can I make her stop with me just being silent and not argumentative? I'm looking for another job to escape her. Okay, so how can I make her stop? You can't really, unless you put some tape on her mouth, basically. We can't change people. We can change our behavior if we can understand some aspect of us as to how we behave and how we're going to create reactions in others. But other than that, really, whatever happens between you and people is the result of your behavior and someone else's behavior and how you both interpret reality and how you react to one another. And so we want to realize this is happening. Now, I can't change her, but I can change myself. So maybe you want to change, realize that there may be some things that you do or that you don't do that you can change. Or maybe you may think, you know what, it's on them, it's not about me. And so I'm just going to speak to the manager or change a job. That's a good thing to do as well. Is it a pattern? If it's a pattern and it's something that is repeating, recurring wherever you go, whenever you have a new job, then you may want to think about maybe some aspect of yourself. But if it's a one-off, it happens. There are all sorts of people in life, and we all have our baggage. We all have our collection of filters, and we all behave in different ways. We all react in different ways to different things. And so it's just the acceptance that we can't change people, but we can certainly deal with that situation by addressing the right people or by changing some aspect of ourselves. If you want to give me more details about whatever happened, we can explore that conversation together. If you're just being silent and not argumentative, it may not necessarily stop her. Some people may continue. And the fact of the matter is that I believe that you may have tried this and it's not working. And so maybe it's not the best strategy anyway. There are all sorts of reasons as to why people don't like us, but the main thing we want to realize is that people are never nasty to us because of us. People never hurt us because there's something wrong about us. They do that because they hurt, and you happen to be there. That's it. We are vessels of energy, and emotions are energies. We absorb, we pass on, we share, we give, we take, we exchange energies all the time. And so if someone has a lot of anger, frustration, and hurt, this is the sort of energy that they have. And they will have to pass on that energy somehow. And so if that person is annoying to you and they hurt you in some ways, it's not because of you. It's because they hurt and you happen to be there, and you happen to be the perfect candidate for them to use to unleash, unload, and get rid of their own frustrations, anger, anxiety, and hurt. And so it doesn't change the fact that you want to protect yourself, but you want to find a way out of that situation. But if you can understand this, at least maybe you can find a place to have some empathy for them and not take it personally and realize it's got nothing to do with me. And just deal with the situation without having to think that person is bad. I hate them. What's wrong with them? I need to change them. Does it make sense? Melanie Veloso, how can you start trusting again? Okay, so this is a very big question. If we don't trust, it's because we've been deceived, because we have been let down. And so what we want to realize is that when we're being let down, it's because of two people interacting and something happens. So basically, it takes two to tango. It's never because of them or because of me. It's because of two people. Everything is about two people. And so there's a part of the equation that belongs to you. So what are you going to do about this? Let me try to find a way to explain it in simple ways. Whatever happened to us, when people are letting us down, And if it happens continuously, it's because of our own expectations. People are people. We attract different people who have different character, different personalities, different ways to behave in life. And the first thing we want to realize is that we attract people. So we're going to allow in our lives, and it's all happening at a subconscious level, but we're going to allow people that feel familiar. And that's why very often many people come to me and they say, why do I always end up with bad boys or bad girls or people like that? That's because they remind us of some people in our past. And so we are attracted to that, and we allow for them to take advantage of us. When people, if someone lets me down one time, I'm going to learn, I'm going to remember, okay, that person let me down, so what can I do for this not to happen? I need to make sure that I don't have so much expectations. I take things one day at a time. I try to do my best to connect with them and to speak the same language, as in connecting emotionally. There's a lot of things that we can do in relationships to avoid being let down. We can see things coming, but the first thing is to stop expecting things and to stop attracting the wrong people. That's it. And so how do you trust people again? You realize that you learn how to listen to your intuition, so that you don't keep attracting people who are seeking for someone to take advantage of. Some people are like that because of their own trauma and baggage as well. But this is what they do. We all do that. Everything that we do is down to our past, and we try to kind of fix some elements of our past with our relationship in our adulthood. And so, first thing, realize that there's a reason why you allow certain people in your life, and there's also a reason why you allow them to take advantage of you. For many of us, if someone does something wrong, I'm going to say no straight away. But for some others, we're going to allow, even though we've been hurt once, twice, thrice, and more. And so, how to trust people again? You want to trust yourself. It's not about trusting people, it's about trusting yourself. You want to trust yourself, you want to trust your intuition, you want to trust your ability to set boundaries and say no. You want to trust your imagination, your intelligence, your abilities to deal with things. And when you can trust yourself, you can trust people. Right? We don't have a problem with people. We have a problem with trusting ourselves, being able or not to deal with people. That's where the lack of trust lies. It's not in people. We don't know people. People change all the time as well. The world is full of people, and we're all different, and we change all the time. And so the only thing that we can really have a power of influence over is ourselves. And so we don't need to trust anyone if we can trust ourselves. And there's a beautiful analogy that I use a lot. Think about birds. Birds on branches, they don't rely on the strength of the branch. They rely on their wings. And this is what confidence is about. When we realize that I can learn, I can grow, I can recalibrate, I can do better next time. Now, life is a ball. We never need to worry, to fear. Fear, mistrust, anxiety, all of those things are subconscious emotional systems that we have to protect ourselves, because back then when we were a child, we didn't have our intelligence yet. And so we needed some systems that were purely emotional. And this is why lack of self-esteem and anxiety is about. It's systems that exist to protect us from the bad things back then when we were a child and we didn't have the intelligence. Now you are a grown-up, and now you can actually absolutely deal with anything that comes your way, utilizing your rational, logical, beautiful, conscious mind, cognitive mind. Yeah. Does it help? Melanie? Reborn. Hello, Reborn. There's a guy at work jealous about me because I was hired to manage the restaurant. Now he was there before me and therefore doesn't respect me as a new manager, most likely due to jealousy. So when he asked me if I see him as a manager, I said no, I see him as a supervisor. And he asked me why. And then I said, oops, I clicked something. I hope that I didn't click the wrong thing. And then I said, because he doesn't speak the local language and he is not qualified, he got angry and called me a racist. Okay? ... Let's see what else going to share of that situation with us. Until I've got more, I'm going to have a little sip of coffee. And please, guys, again, if you have any query, any question, just ask me. I can juggle with more than one topic at a time. So, Grand Kelnem, I've noticed that most of suffering seems to be caused by believing that thoughts are real, rather than recognizing them as something that can be useful. Thoughts appear just like colors. It's a very insightful idea. And yes, indeed, thoughts are just thoughts. And I understand what you mean. I think the way that I would phrase it is that we have belief. And so a belief is a thought that we keep thinking. And we are limited by those beliefs. We suffer from some beliefs that are creating problems, just like the one about loyalty that I was talking about at the start of that live today. But what we want to realize is that beliefs are just belief, and we can choose better belief for ourselves. And so we can choose better belief, and we can choose better thoughts. So yes, I agree with you. If we believe that we are at the mercy of whatever we think or whatever we believe, that will become our reality, and we will be limited and suffer from this, indeed, absolutely. And so a whole big part of healing and self-awareness is to realize that indeed we can absolutely choose better thoughts, we can choose better habits of thoughts, and we can upgrade our subconscious belief as well, so that we have belief that supports our well-being and happiness, as opposed to belief that put us down and limit us and make us feel terrible about ourselves. The most simple, most common belief that I can think of is I'm not enough. It's a belief. A lot of people believe that they're not enough, they're not worthy, they're not lovable, and that's because of whatever happened to them when they were younger. But if we stay trapped in the past, we're going to keep suffering the same sort of disempowerment and helplessness, even though now we have this, we have intelligence, we have intuition, we have knowledge, experience, we have resources as adults that we didn't have as a child. And so we don't need to keep holding on to the same belief anymore if we knew this. So yes, I agree with you, Quakernem. Reborn. So then I was wondering why he would react like that, as if I would be in his country. I would also not be able to get a manager role without speaking his language. Now I got a different question. Well, I want to address the first one then. So basically, you're having a problem with a guy. It's a little bit, there's a lot of information, but what I get from this is that you are both not connecting in the best way. And that's because there's a part of you, and he does the same. We all have egos. And instead of seeing what you can do to function together, in that moment, you are seeing the other like the enemy, like the others. So you are responding, you're not responding, you're reacting emotionally to the situation, and that will create a situation. And it's the two of you, right? And so what I'd say is, my recommendation, and I don't know if it's possible for you, but what I'd say is that for you, the best thing for you to do is to see him like just a human being and see what is best for you. What is the most important thing to you? Is it more important for you to create a good atmosphere at work where we can communicate and thrive together? Or is it better and more important for you to assert your authority, your power, your the fact that you are there first? And so, yeah, we need to realize that a lot of things that we do comes from a place of ego, and when it comes to work, it's not always the best thing to do. But then again, yeah, it's a complicated question. What did you want me to do with that information? Because you are both in your bubble, and you are both experiencing things from your perspective. There's no right or wrong. There's only two different perspectives, yours and his. And maybe other perspective from others watching from the outside. But we want to remind ourselves that there's no one right or wrong situation. There are thousands of different ways to look at every single situation. And maybe there lies the answer to your question. Realize that what you experience in this moment is not the same thing as he experiences. And that is the reason why you are clashing. Reborn. Now I get a different question. Some people say that life isn't always easy, but it's worth it. But then I wonder if life is always worth it, then why are we here to suffer? What is your opinion? Okay, let's talk about this. So you said one word that is very important. You say, is life always worth it? And this is the thing. We need to expand the way we see and think and experience things. life is not about what you're feeling in this moment. Life is about your growth, your journey in your whole adventure. And so it's everything that happened to you up to this point, everything that is going to happen to you up till the last moment you're on this planet. And so what it means is that life is worth it depending on the position you look at it. If you look at it from where you are, from the ego's perspective, from the human being perspective, you're going to think, I don't have the things I want. I still have a lot of suffering. It's not worth it. And that's because that ego, that perspective is not happy, is not satisfied. That ego needs certain requirements in order to be happy. But if you can zoom out and look at yourself from the perspective of the universe, become the observer of yourself, the watcher of yourself, now you're going to see yourself like a story. And now it's becoming interesting because whatever happens to you in your story is part of you. It's part of the story. And so everything is valid. Everything is worth it. Your life is not about necessarily being successful or being loved or being impactful to society or any of those things. Your life, first and foremost, it's about you experiencing a human experience. That's it. If you're going to think, yeah, but I should achieve that, I should leave a legacy, in that moment you're looking at yourself from the perspective of the ego, the human being that is playing with the rules of society, of the belief that we have been given because of our culture and education. And this is only one perspective. As long as you see things from the perspective of the human being, of the ego, you will suffer its limitations, its restrictions, its taboo, its baggage and burden, and all of those things. They come from the position you are looking at yourself. And so basically zoom out and realize, whenever I'm a human, I know that I want all those things. But if I can look at myself from the outside, my life is an adventure, it's a story, and the whole of it matter. Some people may have lives where they don't have success, where they are not loved, or where they are sick and ill. Even they could be horrible people, horrible to others. But it's still a human experience. It is still valid as far as the human experience is concerned. And so this is the difference. You want to remind yourself that there's a difference between the perspective of you as a human being and the perspective of the bigger picture. And then you choose the one that works best for you. And so again, belief adjusts belief. And so you choose whatever works for you. And this is how we reframe a better reality for us. By deciding that some of the things that you used to believe doesn't work for me. I'm going to let go of this. I'm going to see things from a different perspective so that I can feel better about myself. And so now, how can we put this into practice? Whatever you go through in your life, if it's not satisfactory, remember, your life is ongoing. The story is unfolding. It's still happening one moment at a time. And so think about your favorite books. Think about your favorite movies. If everything was fine, happy, and amazing from the beginning until the end, that'd be terribly boring, right? Nothing would happen. The very common example that I use all the time is Titanic. Imagine that the boat never sank. It would be pretty boring as a story. Leo meets Kate, and then they do some pictures, drawing, and that's it. Nothing happens. For us to experience a human experience, we must have ups and downs. And so the downs are there for a reason. They are there to give us some frame of reference so that we know what is good and what is bad, so that we can appreciate the good things more as we are moving away from the bad things. But we need bad things. And so see your life like that. See all of your adversity, problems, complications like opportunities for you to grow as a human being, to overcome all of the situations, to be better at life, and to experience success. Because we can't have success if we haven't got failure. Everything exists with its counterpart. Everything is relative. Nothing exists in and of itself. And so that's how we change our mindset and realize that everything in our life is a lesson. Everything about your life is a lesson, even and especially the harshest ones. But they can only be a lesson when you understand and you accept what they are there for and how you can grow and change from it. As long as you believe that it was bad luck, but it was something that you never want to do again, then you haven't learned yet. And it's not a lesson. It will still be bad luck, mistake, or failure. And so, yeah. What do you think about this? Reborn, does it help? Grankernem at Reborn, what do you mean by suffering? Mubarak Hossein, why am I experiencing bleeding for a couple of days every time I go to the toilet? I don't know. I'm not a GP, so I wouldn't be able to talk about it, I'm afraid. I'm here to talk about the mind. I'm here to talk about psychology, spirituality, mindset, mindfulness, human behavior, relationships, what sort of things. Anything that is physical, there's a connection. If you have something that is chronic, that may well be related to some unheard emotional subconscious wound. So there is a conversation to be had. But if you said to me that it was for the last couple of days, maybe you had something wrong, maybe you got something happening in your body, I haven't got a clue. I'm coming to the end of the thread for now. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. Anyone wants to start a conversation with me? Or continue something that we have started already? Reborn, what do you think about what I said? Mini, hey, just passing by to say I love your vids. Keep it up. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm glad you appreciate it. Just so you know, guys, I have resumed my production of long-form content on YouTube. And today, I put my last one. And so my last video that I put out at 4 o'clock today is about self-esteem. It's about not taking things personally. So I can talk about this if you want. But have a look, have a go, and tell me what you think about it. I put a lot of work. I really enjoy my work. And the long-form content is something that I wanted to do for a long time. And so now I'm back on it. Every week, new long-form video. And the one I put out this afternoon is about not taking things personally, why we take things personally, and what we can do about it. Can talk about this as well, if it's any of your concern to anyone who's watching now. Radwan, you look like Jackie Chan plus Elon Musk, with all respect. I don't know if it's with all respect. I don't take it personally. You know, it's not. There's nothing wrong about it. But I think it's very important to highlight that we have the habit to talk about people's appearance all the time, and it's not necessarily the kindest thing to do. We do this automatically. I used to do it myself for a long, long time. I used to always pick on anything that I would see that is different in the look, in the clothes, in the moving, the voice, and that can be problematic because to some of us that can be hurtful. And so, for instance, I've been bullied an awful lot because of racism when I was a child, and now I'm grown up, I'm cool with that, but I could still be hurt if someone was to compare me using stereotypes like Jackie Chan. And so that's not necessarily very kind or clever, right? If you can find a way, maybe if you want to be kinder to people, realize this. I'm not saying that you do it on purpose. You may do it on purpose, or you may not. But I'm going to give you the benefit of doubt because I don't know you. And I think it's very important not to highlight physical attributes that are different the first time we meet someone. When we get to know better, it's okay, we can talk about all sorts of things. But if we are sticking and stopping on some physical attribute, it shows how shallow and superficial we are first. But also it reminds people that people are going to be judging them because of the way they come across to others. And this is not very, very productive or useful, I think. So just saying this. What do you make of this, Radwan? Reborn, I said something and it didn't reflect in the comment. Did YouTube censor my comment? I don't know. I'm literally reading every single comment, so I wouldn't know what was censored, I'm afraid. Global is the search for enlightenment and with not searching and just being. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of enlightenment, the pursuit of anything, as long as we are pursuing something, we're thinking, we're wanting, we're desiring, we're throwing the energy of lack and despair, and we are getting further away from whatever we are pursuing. What we want to realize is that there's only now, and so whatever that we want exists in the now. Happiness, let's take this as an example. Some people are pursuing happiness. I want to be happy. I want to do all those things, to have all those things, to achieve all those things, to get to the state of happiness. But here's the paradox, the irony of this. the more we are pursuing happiness, the more we're confirming that we are miserable and we are moving away from it. And so we want to stop doing this and we want to realize that we can find happiness here and now. Happiness starts here and now. If we can find happiness, as in through the practice of gratitude, for instance, the little things that we have now we find happiness. We don't need anything else. But also, as a result of this, now we're going to attract and manifest more things, bigger, different ways to experience happiness. And enlightenment is the same thing. We don't need to seek enlightenment. We become. We go through our journey as a human being, and things are just happening. We don't need to think about it. We don't need to think to plan it. We don't need to obsess over any of those things. For me, spiritual awakening journey is a natural process that will happen to some of us, not to everyone, and it's okay. But we don't need to do this. We don't need to have this because we are all here on a different journey. We all have a different priority, different things to deal with. And so for some of us, it's going to be a spiritual awakening journey. For some of us, it's going to be healing our trauma or wounds. For some of us, it's going to be just going through self-discovery and understanding more about the nature of everything. It can be anything, and it's all okay. But yes, global, I agree with you. The search of enlightenment enlightenment is reached when we stop seeking it. Paradoxically, reborn, when a glass is half full and half empty, someone sees it as half full and others as half empty. Now both are right. Why do we experience different realities when there is one glass in front of us? Because everything is a matter of perspective. There's not a single person in the whole world at any given time that will experience the same reality as you. We have a bubble and we have different beliefs, different filters, different way to interpret things. We have different emotional attachment to anything. And also physically, we are observing things from a different spot as well. And so if someone look at the glass of water, indeed, my cup of coffee can be half full, it can be half empty, but also I can see other things depending on where my mind is. And so why? I'd say why not? This is the better question. And the answer to your question is because we need certainty. As human beings, we need to have an illusion of control. So it's got to be one truth. We need to all agree on one truth. We need to all agree that there's a right and a wrong, a good and a bad. And this is where the problem lies. If you could realize that there's no good or bad, there's no right or wrong, no universal truth. There's only contextual truth. So there are contextual right or wrong and good or bad, but everything is relative to context. And so the context would be the perspective of the person or the perspective chosen by a group of people in that moment. And so yes, nothing was ever meant to be the same. Everyone is different. However, we can agree on some things for some common purpose. So in society, we may create some laws to ensure that society functions in a way that everyone understands how to make it function. But there's no universal truth. There's no universal reality. There's not one fixed absolute truth and reality. There's only our experience of it. And so the glass being half full or half empty is one of those examples. And the reason why you're asking me why are we not experiencing the same thing is because it was never meant to be. The better question is to ask why do you want that reality to exist for everyone to be the same? Because we need certainty and control in our lives. And this is what we want to let go of. The more we can expand our perspectives and see things from different perspectives and point of view, the more we are expanding our level of awareness and things become easier, simpler, better, kinder. Everything makes more sense. Does it make sense, Reborn? It's a very good conversation. I'm thinking about creating a long-form content about it at some point. Radwan, I'm so sorry. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you, Radwan. I understand you didn't mean it, but it's important for me. Now I understand that you didn't mean it. But it's important for me also to talk about this because this is what that space is about. It's about learning how to understand ourselves, how to understand people, and how to make things better, essentially. And so this is how I deal with things. I openly speak about it, and then I see what happens, and I gauge the energy of people. So for you, it's going to be through your words, because I don't see you. But I believe that you are coming from a good place. So we all good. Thank you, Radwan. Radwan, YouTube censors nothing. I'm saying bad things from 2 hours and nothing happens. Okay. I'm not sure that what I said still stands. let's see. Let's find out. Radwan, I like that wisdom. Okay, thank you, Radwan. Reborn, I saw that you had some books behind you about the legend David Bowie. What is your opinion on David Bowie and what makes him special? He's just someone that I grew up with. He's someone of my era, so he started to be huge in the late 70s and early 80s, and that was when I was a teenager, when I was discovering the world. And so to me, he was a very important figure. Now, he was also a very important figure because he was so different from anyone in the sense that he would recreate himself. He would try everything. He was never one thing. He was always channeling different trends, different haircuts, different sounds, and everything that he did became his stuff. So in that sense, he was a very, very important artist. He didn't have one system. He embraced everything. He made popular so many different things. He did some mime. He portrayed the kabuki theater on stage. He went into glam rock. He created the progressive concept album, the first video clip, the first big tour with special effects, new wave. He embraced all genre, and so his input into popular art is huge. Anyone who's into music of any generation who understands the history of music would absolutely have a special space for him. So yes, he's one of my all-time heroes, indeed, for all sorts of reasons. Cranker name, isn't direct experience the only thing that exists, in the sense that there have never been anything else than direct experiences, just different appearances? I don't know what you mean. Let me think about this. Let me think about it. Direct experience. What do you mean by direct experience? A lot of our experiences, you mean physical? Because a lot of experiences are also through storytelling, through what people teach us, through observation, through meditation, imagination, daydreaming. There are many things, many ways to experience anything at all. And so nothing is just physical, but direct. If you mean by happening to me, yes, everything is direct because I'm experiencing that idea, that emotion, that state, that situation. I don't understand what you mean by direct. Could you expand on this, please? Global. Is there a part of the mind that experiences shame, no matter the source, hidden or obvious? Let me try to understand this. Is there a part of the mind that experiences shame, no matter the source, hidden or obvious? I don't understand the question. Shame is a construct that humans have created to emotionally blackmail and control and manipulate people. It serves no purpose as far as our evolutionary systems are concerned, and it's really something that we want to let go of. Shame, guilt, all of those things are just illusions that people have created throughout trying different societies, so through religion, for instance, to keep people in check. Shame, typically, the first thought that I have would be the Bible, Christian faith. It's all about shame, but also the Quran. I mean, not the Bible, the Abrahamic religions, the three of them. It's all about shame and guilt, sins, hell, heaven, sort of things, and we want to really realize that we have to work on this. There are two reasons we all suffer: fear and or shame. If we can tackle both fear and shame, now we can find freedom from whatever baggage we have from the past, and we can really make the most of our human adventure. Our limitations comes from those two things: fear and shame. I don't know what you say about the part of the mind. The mind is this. I don't know if this, we can talk about a geographical or an anatomical position in the mind. The mind is just the mind is the brain in action. Not just the brain, the body. It's our I'm not sure how to define this. I know that when it comes to the brain, we often say that the brain is the physical part in your head, the mind is the brain in action. But now I'm also realizing that the mind is so much more than just the brain. Our body is a mind. Our whole self, we are a mind. And so I'm not sure about locating which part of the mind to do with shame or any other emotion. What I would say is that when it comes to shame, we are being taught, and because it's the nature of shame, to repress it. So we ignore it, so we hide it in some part of our mind, indeed. And we suffer because of this. We suffer because of the repressed shame. And that is one of the two sources of all unhappiness and suffering in our existence. Reborn. I admired David Bowie. He was more than a singer, a great actor as well. Yes, he was an artist. He was a fashionista. He was so many things. He was himself. Krankelnem. By direct experience, I simply mean what is being experienced, or consciousness, or what is happening right now. Yes, how else can we experience things anyway? We need consciousness to experience things. So just to reiterate your own words, direct only means whatever we are conscious of. So in that sense, if that's what you mean, yes, we can only experience things directly through our own consciousness. Now it can be through the channel of intuition or meditation or all sort of things like that. But at some point, our consciousness will have to address this. Even if you do it from a subconscious mind perspective, as in through meditation or taking some drugs and being in a different state, at some point that will meet your consciousness for you to have an awareness of it. Reborn, we have explored 13 billion light years of the universe, yet it seems endless. Why do you think it begins, or does it ever end? Are there boundaries? How would you explain this from your perspective? I believe that there are questions that we don't need to ask. I believe that there are things that our mind cannot comprehend because it's not designed to appreciate such vastness. And so for me, it's very simple. The universe is everything in space and time, and but also because I believe in the quantum multiverse. I believe that it's not like just the universe and we're there. I believe that there's only consciousness going through different universes. And so what it means is that the universe that we experience as a human being is us being a body, and we're on a planet, and there are other galaxies around, but if we look inside, then there are microbes, there are atoms, there are molecules, there are tiny stuff as well. And here's the thing, whether we see things from our perspective, whether we see ourselves from an atom perspective, whether we see ourselves from a galaxy's perspective, it's all universes, it's all realities, and it's all pretty much designed on the same kind of model. And so this is the beautiful thing about it. And so it doesn't really matter. There's always going to be something bigger. There's always going to be something smaller. What matters is that our consciousness has brought us into this place, this moment, this time, this shape, this reality, and this is our experience. And so, yes, does it answer your question, Reborn? Global community and communicating to others relieves doubt about ourselves. Yes, talking to others is very important when it comes to mental health, and I agree with that. I'm not sure within which conversation that belongs to, but it's okay. But I agree with that, yes. Communicating is very important indeed. Socializing, speaking out our truth, sharing how we feel, being seen, being heard. Nelly, so do you feel we should get comfortable with the unknowable? Yes, with the unknown, with the uncertain. Yes, absolutely. So I was talking about how fear and shame are the two culprits of all of our suffering. And this is it. One of the solutions to deal with fear is to learn how to be comfortable with the unknown, with the uncertain. We must learn how to be okay and trust basically the universe. Trust that there's something bigger than us looking after us, and everything's going to be fine. And if things don't go well, it's opportunities for us to learn and grow from some challenges, from some adversity that are there on our path for a reason. Everything is a lesson the moment we make it a lesson. So yes, absolutely. We want to let go of we want to realize that the anxiety and the overthinking and the low self-esteem and the self-doubt is all born from the need to have some control and understanding of what is going to happen. But we can never really know anything. We can create some templates, some systems that is going to give us a better chance to get what we want. But we must accept that we never have control over anything. Even if we have everything aligned, things can happen, and so we must accept that whatever happens is what is meant to happen, and it's okay, because we are us. We are powerful. We can deal with that. We can learn, we can grow, we can do with whatever we are in this moment. We don't need to be prepared against it. We don't need to live in fear. We don't need to have that illusion of control. Peace and happiness, thank you for the little hearts. Peace and happiness comes when we are fully surrendering, letting go, yielding to the universe and accepting. I trust me, I trust the universe, everything is going to be fine, one moment at a time. But of course, if you have been traumatized, if you have some conditions, if you are overwhelmed with life, if you are surrounded by toxicity, it's going to be very, very difficult. And there lies the work. We need to work on our internal and external reality to make sure that we can let go of stress, tension, fear, doubt. If we can do this, then we're good to go. At any level, mental and emotional, but also physical. Yeah. Ava Must. How to go about tackling shame deeply, even down to the unconscious level. You tackle shame by realizing why you have shame, and then you practice self-compassion, self-forgiveness, self-love, and you learn how to basically treat yourself the way you need it to be treated like. Your caregivers, your teachers, your parents, your buddies, they taught you shame. And so you need to go back into that place when you were a child and tell that child, it's okay, there's nothing to be ashamed about. Nothing was ever your fault. And now I'm going to give you some love and we're going to be fine together. One big part of healing is to learn how to reconnect with our emotional mind, which is our child's mind. We have a child's mind inside of us. This is who we were when we were younger. And it's going to react to life whenever we are being emotional. And we're going to react the same way we used to react then. We're going to react in which way the child has been left at. And so if the child was happy, secure, looked after, and had coping mechanism and loving parents, the child is not going to be living with shame or fear. But for the vast majority of us, because of the way society is structured, we're going to have fear and shame about ourselves. And so we need to become the parent to ourselves. We need to become the loving parent, the loving big brother or big sister or best friend to that person that lives inside of us, that is our hurt child, but is still waiting for comfort and for reassurance and for praises and for love. If we can do this, we can let go of the shame. If we can realize that there's nothing to be ashamed about. Shame is terribly insidious because, unlike guilt, it's associated to our sense of self. And so guilt is, I've done something bad. Shame is, I am bad. And this is so deep within us because it's in the fabric of society. Religion teaches us that. You are born, how do you say, you're born a sinner. And you're going to go hell unless you find your savior. You have sins. You're stupid, you're lazy, you're selfish, you're weak, and all those things. And it's just absolutely terribly cruel and unproductive and unnecessary. Instead, what I want to do is to understand why we're like that, what happened to us in childhood for us to have developed that aspect of our personality, and so we can understand we don't need to judge ourselves anymore. We don't need to judge others anymore. We don't need to create suffering out of thin air anymore. Global. The privatization of all aspects of life has eliminated casual encounters with others, unless in an organization, schoolwork, or church. Yes and no. The truth of the matter is that we are evolving as a species, and things were always meant to change. And so it's true that some things were different in the past, but it's always been like that. This is the world evolving, and so it's for us to find a way we didn't have a new system to make it happen for us. If you want to meet people, I meet people all the time. It's very easy. I go outside, I go in the park, I go in the supermarket, I go in the library, I go wherever I go, to the gym, loads of people. So it's very easy. But if we are going to think, but because of the social media, internet, because of privatization, all those things, now we're focusing on the negative aspect, the things that we have no power over. Focus on what you can do to make this happen. In other words, we're not the victims of our environment. The environment is environment. And whether we're the victim or the architect of it depends on our mindset. If I choose to decide that I'm the victim of my environment, there's nothing I can do about this, they change everything, it's bad. Now I'm going to create that reality for myself. But if I decide, you know what, that's like that. Now what can I do about this? How am I going to make it better? And now we are back into an empowered state and we can make things happen. I hope it makes sense. Is it true that there is problems in society? Yes. But there's always going to be problems and there's always going to be opportunities. And it's down to us to have the right mindset to see what we want to see in order to create the life that we want to have for ourselves. Nelly, thank you. Reborn is very linked between social scarcity, anxiety, and the sense of uncertainty, or the separate experiences. So let's talk about it. Social scarcity, anxiety, and the sense of uncertainty. Yes, it's all the same energy. You can either be in a closed space here, as in survival mode, defensiveness, the world is bad, I must protect, or relaxed, open, and see opportunities, see abundance, see people, see connection, see luck. It's a mindset thing, but of course, our mindset is limited by our heart set. So no one chooses to have a victim's mindset. We have a victim mindset because it's the mindset we've been given. It's the only one that we know, and we suffer from it. So we don't want to laugh at people, mock them, belittle them, and say, oh, don't have a victim mindset. We don't choose our victim mindset. We have a victim mindset because we have some wounds, some emotional baggage that are preventing us to have any other type of mindset. But if we can realize this, we want to work on our emotional baggage first, and then we can upgrade that mindset and turn it into a growth mindset instead. Robotic rat. Love my job as a veterinarian assistant for the pets. Fantastic. And the people, yes. Being around others is very uplifting. You have a fantastic job indeed. Yes. I know that it's not all easy because sometimes there's a lot of sad things happening. But yes, absolutely. I love dogs. I love animals in general. But we used to have dogs up till a few months ago. And so yes, thank you for being a vet. You're doing a great job, and if you're doing it well, you can really impact people a lot, indeed. Thank you. Thank you for the little heart. And so yes, let me have a little bit of coffee until the next comment. And so, Reborn, did anything that I said was useful in some ways to you or not? Just so you know, I'm going to stay up till 8 o'clock. So there's time, but make sure that you keep me busy entertained, otherwise I'm going to fall asleep and I will have to resume my day doing other things, and I'll come back some other time. I come here to talk to you guys, and so do ask me things, please. Reborn, can abundance mindset be trained? Yes, absolutely. And how long would such process take, and how do we find out if we have it? Okay, so I was explaining how before the mindset is the heart set. And so we are creatures of emotions and feelings first and foremost. 95% of our mind is emotional. The subconscious mind is an emotional mind. Only 5% is cognitive. And so in order to have an abundance mindset, we must have a good relationship, a good emotional relationship with abundance. And that's the first reason as to why some people struggle with money and finances. It's because they have a subconscious negative association with money. And so the first thing you want to do is to address your own emotional, your own money blocks. That's what we call them, money blocks. And many of us will have this because we grew up in a family who struggled financially, and so the associations we made with money was not good. Why do I never see my parents? Because we're working hard, and so money is bad. I want to play with them as a child. I want them to be around me. Why do I suffer from abuse? Because of the bullies, because my parents are not there, because we're working hard, and so on and so forth. For me, I had a scarcity mindset for many, many, many years. It's only a few years ago that I started to change. But for me, money was terrible, and I never thought about it because, again, it's subconscious. But for me, money was the one thing that killed my dad, because he had 5 cancers and heart attacks and all sort of things because he was working so hard. And also, I had a lot of problems with my mum. She has a lot of mental health problems because of that we clashed and ended up a drug addict and in the streets at a very young age. And so why did she behave like that? Because she was stressed, because my dad was ill, because of money. And so whichever I looked at, money was bad. And even I, experiencing extreme scarcity when I was in the street, really, really created a lot of scars as far as my relationship with money is concerned. And so the first step is to address all of those things and to remember, oh, that was my perspective then, but now I want to realize that money is good, money is my friend, money wants good things for me, money is health, money is happiness, money is love, money is connection. I want to find a way to let go of whatever negative belief we have about money. And eventually, as we do that, we are changing our heart set. And eventually that will allow for a better money, abundance mindset. If you just address this but not there, it's not going to work because, again, 95% of your mind is emotional. And so even if you think, I want money, I know how to do it, I think I know how to deserve it, how to make this happen. But if you don't feel like it, your emotional mind will sabotage all of your attempts to make this happen. It's going to create procrastination, it's going to make you do mistakes, it's going to make it very hard for you to take all those steps that are quite easy for anyone to make money. If you want to make money, it's actually quite simple. You follow a mentor, someone who's done it, and you do what you've done. That's it. And eventually, just like with everything else, it's just a skill that you can develop. But the reason why it's so hard for some of us is because we have an emotional block as far as abundance is concerned because of XYZ, something that happened to us in childhood. And so it can be anything at all. Even some very seemingly harmless conversation that we hear in childhood. If our parents said things like, do you think that money grows on trees? Or do you think I'm made of money? Or any of those things, or if we see them struggling, if we see our parents arguing because of money, now money is not good. We don't like money. And so those are the real reasons, the most important aspect as to why so many of us suffer from scarcity. It's not because we're not clever enough. It's because we have a negative emotional association with money. So yes, how long it will take, it depends. We're all different. It can be fast, it can be never, it may never happen. Or it can take a lot of time, whatever time, it depends. It really depends on each individual. But it's absolutely possible to change. The moment you start to change your relationship with your money, everything will become easy. I've got ideas, and I can do that thing that I wanted to do. I know how to do this. I know how to have a growth mindset. I know how to learn what I need to learn in order to make this happen. I will take my time, and I know that at some point I will get it. It's the knowing that we're going to make something happen or not that creates it. So just 1 second, please. My watch is telling me that it's time for me to load my last TikTok video of the day. Just bear with me, please. What you invest your time, focus, and emotion.
No desire to ever be famous. I just wanted.
Okay, it's out. Thank you very much, guys. I'm back with you. Okay. And so yes, yes, it's something that people don't talk about enough because money is often a taboo. But even when you think about general belief that people have about money, if you look at Christians, for instance, money is the root of all evil. They're literally conditioning people to dislike money. And so we need to address all of those things. There's nothing wrong about money. People say, all those people who have a lot of money, they're terrible. No, they're just people. They can do things that we cannot do, and so now we're going to project, but we don't know what it is to be them. And they don't know what it is to be us. Everyone is different anyway. But every time I see all those comments about people who are having a go at people who are very rich, that confirms to me why they are not. And so it's not something that we need necessarily. But for those who want to make more money, it's absolutely possible if we can get rid of our blocks. Cedric Virtual, bonjour. Bonjour, Cedric. Reborn, yes, it was very useful. Fantastic. Thank you, Reborn. Mahin Marceline, what is RTT? RTT is the system that I use within my practice with my clients. It stands for Rapid Transformational Therapy. It's a blend of hypnosis, regression, and belief reframing at a subconscious level. So we address problems from the subconscious mind, not from the conscious mind. If you want me to expand more of this, just ask me and I can explain, maybe using a specific case, how we use RTT. But essentially, it's a type of hypnotherapy on steroid. It's very, very powerful. It's the most, in my mind, based on, I'm biased because I've been doing this for 8 years and it's the system that I use. But because I use it and because it works with so many of my clients, to me, it's the most powerful system that addresses any of our blocks, wounds, any of our trauma, any of the limiting beliefs that have developed and creating all the problems in our life now, today as an adult. So what I always say is that whatever problem we have was originally a system that we put into place as a child, back then, to keep safe or to be seen. And because we have not upgraded that system, it has escalated, it's gone out of control, and now it has become maladaptive and is creating a lot of problems in our life. And so depression, anxiety, anger issues, self-sabotage, low self-esteem, overthinking, any of those things and more, they are all the development of some belief that we have put into place when we were a child because of whatever happened to us then. And so by changing this belief, now we are telling our nervous system, our subconscious mind, we don't need this anymore, and we're able to, over time, change the way we think, change the way we feel, and fix, correct any of those dysfunctions. Reborn, especially the half empty and half full topic. Okay. Gaurav Chandra, message retracted. S. Jadryer, hi from Amsterdam. How do you know so much? How does anyone know anything? I don't know. It's me. This is the things that I have interest in. It's the things that I think about, that I read about, that I explore, that I study, that I research, that I work on with people. This is the things that I'm passionate about, and so that's why I know so much about that. But there's a lot of things that I don't know. If you ask me about football, I know nothing. If you ask me about, I don't know, nuclear fusion, I have no idea. There's a lot of, this is my thing. This is the things that I do. So that's why I know this. If you ask me about cooking, I don't know how to cook. Something that is decent. And this is it. We're all different. We all have different preference, and I'm good at that because I'm passionate about this, because it's my job, because I look after people every day, and because I have ADHD. And so I can hyper focus over the things that I love, and this is what I love. I think about this all the time, all day, all night, 24/7. I'm obsessed. I talk about this all the time. I write books, I create content, I look after clients, I do those lives on YouTube, and so that's how I know what I know. And it's an ongoing process. If you love something, you're always expanding and learning more. Fluid77 said hi. Hello. Ava Mast, thank you so much. The opening you showed in your body language, releasing the anxiety and victim mentality, said a lot. Okay, so much needed yet for that to set in for someone caught up in scarcity/anxiety. Okay, are you referring to yourself? Do you suffer from anxiety and scarcity? We can talk about this if you want. Cedric Virtual, please could you speak a little louder? No, this is my voice, I'm afraid. I'm not going to shout. I'm not going to do some monkey impersonation for your pleasure. It's not a circus. I've been doing the live for a long time now, and everyone seems to be happy. So it's giving me a little hint of maybe you coming from a place of not being very nice to me. And so I hope that you can hear. If not, maybe you want to have some hearing aids. I don't know what to say about this. Okay, Cedric, MC. Hi from Zandam, very close to Amsterdam. Okay, fantastic. Zandam, I've never heard of it. Louis Cadino, blah, 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 nothing coherent. Okay, so we have trolls every now and then. It's okay, it's normal, it happens. Let's move on. Let's forget about Louis Cadino. PSLO, hi Didi, you are such a lovely, refreshing breeze. Fantastic, thank you. Thank you for all of your work. Thank you so much, PSLO, it's very kind of you. So this is the thing, in life we're going to meet all sorts of people. People are going to say some nice things, people are going to say some naughty things. It is down to us to choose where we're going to bring our attention on. So I choose to focus on the people who are saying nice things to me. And I know that there are always going to be some noise, some negative stuff happening. And it's okay, it's got nothing to do with me. I'm going to just ignore it and let it go just like that. And this is how we don't get affected by negative people or by anything toxic. We can choose where we direct our attention on. So thank you guys for allowing me, for giving me an opportunity to demonstrate this for everyone else. Aja, thank you, and a lot of hearts emojis. Reborn, how do you see the relationship between anxiety and imagination? Do they feed each other? Anxiety is a very poor use of our imagination. That's it. Imagination is our power to manifest. Whatever we can imagine can happen in our reality. And anxiety is basically imagining the bad things, imagining the worst case scenarios. So this is often what I say. Anxiety, self-doubt, overthinking is a terrible use of our imagination, because when it comes to anxiety, anxiety is trying to control the future. But the future is always uncertain. No one knows what is going to happen. And so if we think about the future, it's always going to be an imagination. If we feel anxious about it, it's because we are focusing on the negative possibilities as opposed to focusing on the positive ones. There could be some good outcomes, some good stuff. And so that's one of the hacks that people use. If you are very often, quote, worrying about the future, realize that worrying is you imagining the worst possible case scenarios, but it's still just imagination. It's not real, it's just in your head. It's nowhere else. And so you might as well imagine the good stuff. And so instead of thinking, what if the bad things happen? Tell yourself, what if the good thing happens? What if it works well? What if I get everything that I want and more? What if I'm super lucky? What if tomorrow everything is going to be super easy and success will just come in my hands like that? And now we're feeling better about ourselves. Even now, telling you about that, I feel better just because I'm entertaining those thoughts. And whatever thought we think create a physiological, emotional state in our body. So by choosing better thoughts, you can see I'm smiling, I'm happy, just because I'm talking about something that has got nothing to do with me. But even that is enough to create that feeling of joy inside of me right around now. And so, yeah. Richie said hi. Hello, Richie. All the words are taken. Oh, hello. Hello, 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 Didi. Yes. Didi, please remember to drink. Yes, my drink manager. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. Thank you. For those who don't know, I have ADHD and I forget to drink water. And as a matter of fact, yesterday and today I'm having a little bit of a gout beginning in my toe, so I need to drink more water. Indeed. Reborn, do you think social media amplifies scarcity, anxiety, or does it just reveal what already exists? Yes, it just amplifies. It doesn't create anything. Everything starts from within us, so everything is about our belief. It's never about that thing. Now, some people are going to say, all the problems are because of social media, it's because of TikTok, it's because of the internet, it's because of television, it's because of MTV, it's because of heavy metal video, it's because of video games, it's because of this and that. It's always been like that. People are utilizing things as scapegoats, witch hunting, because they need to have a sense of control, an illusion of control. So we need to choose who is the scapegoat, and very often, whatever technology is going to be that. But it's not like that. Technology was always meant to happen. And the problem is not AI, the problem is not any of those things. The problem was always people. And I can even expand this to other systems. Think about religion. To me, religion is not a problem at all. The problem is how some people are using religion. So again, back to people, back to their belief, back to their intention. What are we going to try to achieve using that thing? And so, yes, social media, nothing of those things, it doesn't amplify anything at all. Things exist because there's a demand, and also because we evolve. But the problem is just that the problem is always to do with our own belief that we have about ourselves in this world. If we can change this now, we can use all of those systems in ways that are positive. Yeah, all those things are just tools, and so a tool is only as good as what you choose to use it for. Thank you for the little hearts. Richie, I need to drink. I just realized my lips are sticking and I am dehydrated. Okay, so just like me, have water. Reborn, are certain organs more sensitive to emotional or cognitive stress than others? Probably. I wouldn't know the list of them, but yes, I think all of your organs, all of them, all of our organs respond to some emotional energies. So if you think about the way your body reacts and functions is through chemical reactions. And so your body creates hormones, your brain creates neurotransmitters, and all of those are chemicals that are going to get your liver, your spleen, your heart, your lungs, your skin, your eyes to function in certain ways based on whatever's happening to you. And so what we want to realize is that all of those chemicals are the same that are used when it comes to emotions and feelings and sensations. And so in other words, whatever we go through, whatever we go through in childhood and throughout our lives, as far as emotional energy is concerned, it's going to affect our body, it's going to affect our organs, it's going to affect our systems. The endocrine systems, the nervous system, all of the systems, they exist and they function because of chemicals that are created from our different minds, the brain, but also the minds in our body, and so it's all connected, and any of those organs, any of those parts of our body can be affected. And so in hypnosis, through the tools of hypnotherapy and RTT, very often when people have some physical conditions, we find out about the scenes in the past that are connected to it. And so someone may have something to do here or there because of a specific situation that happened in their childhood. And we find out through the hypnosis. It's very, very fascinating. Even the most specific things, like some people may want to vomit or any of those things, and that's because of something very specific that happened to them. And at the subconscious level, the body is continuing recreating the thing that happened then. And so yes, your whole body is potentially can be affected by your emotional state and your past. BW, hi Didi from Belgium City, Bruges. Hello, BW from Bruges. Richie, I was diagnosed with ADHD as an adult, but I have also always suffered from anxiety, nervousness, fight or flight, hypersensitivity. Okay, so ADHD is that. ADHD, amongst other conditions, get us to be hypersensitive. And this is the thing. The problem is not the ADHD per se. The problem is that if we are hypersensitive to life because of the ADHD, whatever is going to happen to us in childhood is going to be amplified. And so very often people don't know about ADHD, and so they're going to be judged by their parents, by the teachers. Don't be so lazy, don't be so stupid. Why can't you be on time? And they are going to basically believe that they're bad, that they're inferior, because their brain cannot do those things that are expected by society, but all the things that the other kids and the other people can do so easily, we cannot, because our brain is different. And so now the problem is not the ADHD per se. It is the anxiety, it is the shame, it is the low self-esteem, it is the self-hatred that has been inflicted to us by people, by our parents, by society, by the teachers, by our peers, because no one knew back then. And so this is the real problem. If we have ADHD, but we grew up in a family that understands ADHD, and everyone around us understands, and so we are basically looked after in the way we should be looked after, there's no problem, no anxiety, no depression, no nervousness, none of those things. But this is all because of society. It's more of a societal problem rather than a neurological one. ADHD is just that our brain works in a different way. And so if we are doing things that correlate with the abilities of our brain, now we can do something amazing. And that's why a lot of people say ADHD is a superpower. And here's the thing, ADHD can be a superpower if we understand those things. In and of itself, it's not a superpower. If we're in a place where people are going to expect us to do things like everyone else, but we can't do this, then it's going to be a hindrance. It's going to be the opposite of a superpower. So if you suffer from anxiety, nervousness, fight or flight, and hypersensitivity, it's not because of the ADHD. It's because of the ADHD and the situations in life that has created that feeling that there's something wrong about you. It's the people who taught you all those things. It's not the ADHD per se. When I address ADHD with my clients, we address the anxiety, we address the depression, we address the I am not enough. This is what we address. And there are also some hacks that we can use, and if we understand our conditions better, regardless of whatever condition that we have, then we know what sort of things we should be doing. What is our strength? What environment is best for us? But ADHD in and of itself is not a problem. The problem is the people, judgment. It's a lack of empathy, it's ignorance, it's a lack of understanding of mental health. But things are changing, and people like me are here precisely because of that. Marcella Taro said hi. Hello, Marcella Taro. Ava asked, what I meant to ask was rather how to release anxiety so deeply that the body relaxes and the perspective opens up, seeing opportunities and the positive. So if you want to release anxiety, you want to release the triggers that keeps on creating anxiety. Anxiety is not a thing that comes into your life and then you can get rid of it and you're good to go. Anxiety is because of the filters we have that keeps on misinterpreting the world and keeps on basically producing anxiety in our body. So you want to address the filters, you want to address the triggers, you want to address the belief, you want to address those things that keeps on recreating and reproducing anxiety all the time. If you get rid of the anxiety, it's not a bad thing. You can do it. There's a lot of systems you can do. A lot of somatic exercises. You can do some breathing. You can do some exercise. You can do some dancing. You can do all sort of things, shaking, and that will release the anxiety in the moment. But if you don't address your triggers, it's going to come back because you have systems. The problem, a lot of people talk about regulating the nervous system, and what people don't realize is that the problem is not the nervous system. Our nervous system is just reacting in whichever way it's meant to react. What we want to address is the triggers that get the nervous system to always constantly protect against the signals of dangers. So that's the difference. And so if you want to just release anxiety, there's a ton of things you can do. But the main thing really that we want to address is the reason as to why we keep feeling anxious. But if you want to be more maybe specific, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Do you want to tell me about you? What sort of anxiety are we talking about? Can you give me an example, explain to me what is going on? And I'll be more than happy to give you something that you can use for yourself. Ava. Reborn, why is our imagination often anticipating negativity stuff instead of positive? Why is that so universal, and why is our brain structured like that? For survival. Our imagination is going to be thinking about the bad things because we're on a survival mode, and this is what the brain is going to do. The brain is going to be negativity biased, and imagine the worst case scenario to prepare us against it. And so if we are living in a state of fear, a state of insecurity and unsafety, this is what the brain will do to protect us. If we live in a state of peace and trust and faith, and we are fine, and we know that we are supported, then our imagination is going to imagine wonderful stuff instead. It's not our imagination, it's our state. And so you want to address why you live in a state of fear. And this is the majority of us. Society itself is designed for us to be in that state. And so there's that. And there's also the way we've been brought up, culture, education. It's all designed to instill and cultivate fear in people. Because society needs us to be fearful so that it can control us. When we're in a state of fear, when we're in a state of survival, we have less access to our intelligent, rational, logical mind. So we're more easily manipulated. People are going to say all of your problems are because of the trans people, it's because of the immigrant, it's because of the others, it's because of the people who are fat, it's because of people who don't look like you or don't sound like you. And now because we're overwhelmed, we're going to emotionally go in that direction and say, yeah, I need to have some control, it's because of them. And now we have a sense of empowerment. I understand my life, I understand my problem, and it was always an illusion of control that was designed by society itself. And so, yeah, there are many elements to talk about. Our brain is designed to protect ourselves. So if we have a little bit of fear, just a little bit is going to go there very, very easily because that's our default setup. But we can teach our brain to think more positive, and it's a process, but we want to let go of anything that keeps on creating fear and shame inside of us, and eventually at some point we can start to practice a positive mindset. Me, thank you for your advice and wisdom. Thank you, me. Me, can we rewire our brains? Yes, we rewire our brain every day, all the time. Your brain is literally a machine that is adapting to everything that you do every day. That's it. So there's nothing that we are changing all the time, but in some capacity. But because we don't see the change that we want, it's because we're choosing to repeat the same. And so the brain is becoming better at whatever skills we are repeating. If we are always angry or if we suffer from anxiety or depression, we're going to reinforce the skills of anger, reactivity, depression, anxiety, negativity. It's just skills, habits of thoughts, habits of emotions that we're reinforcing by virtue of repetition. But your brain can literally adapt to everything, provided you keep doing it for long enough. Like the neural networks that may have developed as a child from trauma. Yes, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Now, we need to realize that if we've been traumatized, if we have CPTSD, we have reinforced those habits over many, many years, over a lifetime. And so it's going to take some time, and it may not give you exactly what you expect, but you can change things in some. On paper, you can change everything. But there are so many aspects of us, we need to choose to prioritize. What do I want to change? And so when we focus on that, that thing will change more. Yeah? But it does take time. But it's possible to change trauma, absolutely. Again, we're talking about RTT. The system that I use is very, very powerful when it comes to trauma. Reborn, is it possible to use hypnosis to recall events from the first 5 years of our lives? Yes. Or are those early memories generally inaccessible? No, we can remember everything. Many of my clients remember how they were in the womb from the first few months in the belly of mom. They remember what they saw, how it felt. They remember hearing voices, hearing mom speaking, hearing dad or grandma on the other side. They can remember all those things. And so, yeah. And some people even go further than that. So now we're delving into spiritual stuff, but some people remember past lives, regression stuff. So this is a whole different thing. I don't specialize in this myself. Some of my colleagues do. But the mind, whatever the mind gives us, is going to be the person's reality. So this is what we're going to work with. If I come across someone who tells me, I am Cleopatra or Napoleon, I'm going to say, oh, it's okay. Tell me, what is happening to Napoleon? What is happening to Cleopatra? I'm going to use this because it is their reality, and it's the same as far as I'm concerned. It makes no difference. BW, organ clock of China. Do you know something about? I don't understand. I don't know what is organ clock of China. Sorry, BW, I don't know. Reborn, what's your opinion on the rapid advancement of AI? Do you think it will fundamentally change our lifestyle? And in your view, is this a positive development? Everything in terms of technology is always positive. It's evolution. We resist it because there's a part of us that is scared of losing control. But everything was always meant to get better, and it always does get better because there's a demand. Those things wouldn't be invented if we didn't need them. And so technology is always positive. Some people don't like it because they have an old mindset. They're scared of what is different. They don't want to change. I'm losing control. If you look back in the other days, anything that was new was criticized anyway. When people started to have tractors, farmers didn't like it. I don't like tractors, it's not going to work. Okay, now, a credit card, it's never going to work. Everyone uses it. And everything, internet, AI, it's just evolution of things. And so, again, I was saying, we're looking in the wrong place. AI is just a tool, and so people are what are going to create the nature of the tool. What it means is that some people will use AI for good, some people will use AI for bad, but it's always been like that anyway. So the problem is not AI, the problem is people. And the analogy that I often use is a hammer. You have a hammer, you can build a house, you can build a boat, you can build a lot of nice things, but you can also smash someone's face. So it's never the tool, it's not the hammer, it's not AI, it's the people. Me, do you think society is sick? Yes, it is. It is, absolutely. Society has been sick for a long time, and it's time to do our best to really heal it. But the good news is that the way that I see it, our species is very, very young. If you look at the evolution of humanity as a species, it was not long ago that over the whole history, it's not long ago that we had stuff like Industrial Revolution and all those things. It all happened very, very quickly. That's why I'm saying that technology is so great. And so even at a societal level, we're still learning how to be better at it. And I believe that even though there's a lot of terrible things happening, it's all part of a process. And at some point, it will get better and better. Reborn, me definitely yes, yes. Me definitely yes, yes. Shredder, thank you, Didi. You are so awesome. Thank you, Shredder. Ava, thanks. Exactly. I'd like to slow down the programming functioning of my nervous system rather than its response in anxiety, like when someone I respect might reject me in a situation. Okay. So we're talking about rejection here. Let's talk about just that. If you feel rejected by someone, know that they're not rejecting you. You are choosing to give the meaning of that situation, saying that you are being rejected. And so you can change the meaning. If someone says no to you, if someone doesn't like you, just think, this is not a rejection. This is redirection. Realize that there's a difference between what we want, what we desire, what we expect, and what the universe gives us. And very often, when we look back with hindsight, realize that a lot of things that didn't feel great at the moment was actually great over the long period because it allowed us to try something else, to see other people, and so trust the universe and tell yourself, I'm not being rejected, I am being redirected to a better option, and I may not see what's the point of it is right now, but at some point I will. When you look back with hindsight, everything happened for a reason. H. Purdy, you are pure light and love. All right, thank you so much, H. Purdy. Cesar, heart emoji, central, pounds high. Hello. BW, thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for your interest. I need some coffee. And so, yes. Any more comments from you guys? Reborn. Why do superpowers keep waging wars? Even though history clearly shows the cost of human toils and disaster, humanity seems to never learn from it. Why is it so, in your opinion? It's learning, but not everyone is learning, and we're still in the process of learning. So the bad things that are happening, there are still the lessons that you need to learn from. Sometimes it takes a lot for a lesson to be digested and absorbed and taken in. And so you may think, why, despite all the wars, there are still wars? Because it takes time. Because even though bad things are happening now, there's a difference. I can see what is happening, for instance, in Gaza, in Palestine, and it's been ongoing for a long, long time, since 1948. But the difference is that now people know about it, people talk about it, people are marching, people have an awareness of this, and there lies the difference. There's a general consciousness that is shifting. So despite us seeing the same bad things, seeing Donald Trump being elected and wondering how the heck did he end up there, or in the UK, Keir Starmer and everything, it's still a part of the process, it's still happening. Because we very often a lesson is not assimilated the first time, it takes some repetition, but also there's a huge response happening. When I look at the state of the world, I look at the positive reactions. So there's a lot of bad stuff happening, but there's also a lot of good people that are fighting the good fight. And this is where I choose to look at, and that makes me feel better. I can see there's progress, there's awareness, there's change. At some point, some of those people will be in charge of the government, and then we're going to see the result of the change that has already started. Me. Oop. Do you think our purpose is to learn as much as we can for our souls? It's not to learn as much as we can. It's to just grow throughout our human experience and experience it. That's it. Our souls is our consciousness. It's our ability to have an experience. So as a person, but if I was an animal, that would be the same. I would have some sort of consciousness. And the purpose of us existing in this realm of reality is to experience our human experience. That's it. And so whatever we experience is going to be it. Now, if you can have an awareness that it's all about growth, now we can make the most of that experience. Instead of suffering and allowing for the suffering to keep repeating in the same way for the whole of our life, now we can try to do it better, change some aspect of us, make our life better. And so it's the element of growth that is going to, the awareness of the element of growth that is going to allow us to make this happen. But some people will not grow, and it is their experience, and it is still valid. If we have that awareness, we are lucky. Reborn, but when you see our politicians talking, they seem the smartest in the room, but never learn from the past. Is their perceived smartness overrated? It's not that. It's that some people, you are projecting what you think people should be doing, but you don't realize that there are all sorts of people. Some people don't care about other people. Some people are narcissists. Some people are sociopaths. Some people have no empathy. And most of them are in charge. That's the problem. The government is run by a bunch of psychopaths, essentially. Society is often like that. People are at the top. For them to get at the top, they need to have a very low level of empathy, so they have no scruple to walk on others to get there. And so, because of that, that explains it. It's not that they're less intelligent, it's that they don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about anyone. They just want to have power, to have money, to manipulate, to play with people and people's lives. But it is our expectations that is deceitful. People like Keir Starmer, he's a psycho. He doesn't care. Boris Johnson, same thing. Donald Trump, so many of them. It's just that we expect them to be human. We expect them to be like us, to have some moral values, to care for others. And that's why we're thinking, they're not clever. They're very clever. For me, Donald Trump is super clever. He comes across like an idiot, but this is on purpose. He wants people to see him like that because he knows that there's a lot of people who are going to see, he's like one of us. We're the same. He's very, what you see is what you get. And this is a whole act. Everything is thought through. Everything is orchestrated when it comes to politics. And so they do learn from the past. Look at how they're able to still manipulate so many people through propaganda, with the media, with the lies that they're spouting every day on the news. Ava, thank you so much. Could you talk about RTT and changing of core belief not helpful for someone? And also, I had an experience that I could not let go or relax enough to be hypnotized. Any tips? Okay, so let's talk about the first bit. RTT and changing core belief. So yes, with RTT, we go back into the memories we have about the past, and that moment in our memories where we have created a belief that has now escalated. And so what we need to realize is that there's not a place called the past. We can't go back into the past. And so through the process of hypnosis, what we're doing, we are not changing the past. We're changing our relationship with the past. And as we change our relationship with the past, we begin to change some aspect of our subconscious mind. The reason why we have some of those beliefs inside of us is because we believe that this is still important for us to hold on to this belief. Or the belief that we have, they serve a purpose. But if you can realize that they're actually maladaptive and creating some negative patterns of behavior, now we want to upgrade them. And we do this by changing the emotional intensity of those memories. And so through the sessions, I'm going to do this. I'm going to change the way someone experiences those memories, so that it's no longer charged with fear or with sadness or with overwhelmed helplessness. The reason why we have some belief or some thought that keeps coming back is because of the emotional attachment to it. The more emotional it is, the more it's put at the front of our head, and so it's there all the time, or how we feel. And so through RTT, my job is to let go of the energy that is negative, and basically they will keep the memories. All the memories will always be there because we are the memories, but because it's not going to be so dramatic, they won't need to think about it that often. And also that gives us a chance to address, again, our subconscious mind, as to realize that the anxiety, the limiting belief, they're all there because we've chosen to have those things in place. We believe that this is what we need to stay safe, to be seen, to be accepted. But we can change this if we realize, and this is the next part of my job, is to realize that you are now an adult. You are no longer a child. You are not disempowered. You are not helpless. You have now intelligence, imagination, intuition, resources that you didn't have as a child. And so you don't need those emotional subconscious mechanisms to protect you anymore. You can use your intelligence. Whenever you are facing a new situation, whenever you are facing adversity, it's okay. I am me. I can deal with that. And this is the empowering part. I teach people to bring themselves back from the emotional mind perspective, the child's mind, to the adult's one, the creative mind, as opposed to the victim's mind. And so this is the second part of what I do. And that's it. This is how we change belief and emotional triggers through the process of RTT. Now, it's a process that takes time, depending on people. So we need to listen to recording after the first session to reinforce those neural pathways associated with the new belief that we want to install together. But also we need to reframe some things, some systems, some cognitive systems that we have. We want to also reframe those things, because whatever we think is down to how we feel. And so we've been feeling in a certain way for a long time, the way we think will also reflect that. And so we want to first address here and then that. And eventually, now we have a bigger picture. We can understand things from different perspectives, and things are much easier. Now let's talk about the part where you said it was difficult to get hypnotized. If you can't relax or let go, it's because you have created a lot of barriers. I did the same. I'm the same. I'm very like that because of my trauma, because of my past. But it's okay, because when it comes to hypnosis, it's not about being in a state of trance. Some of us will get in a state of trance. Some people will get there eventually. Some of us will not. And it's okay, because it's not that. Hypnosis is not, hypnotherapy is not stage hypnosis. So all we want to do is to get into a place where we are operating on a theta or an alpha brainwaves mode. So all we need is to, as we go through the session, to be open enough and eventually access this part of our subconscious mind. So what I'm trying to say is that many people like you, like me, like a lot of my clients who may be soldiers or in the police force, or who've been through a lot of trauma, they can't let go. We can't let go. But it's okay. We're still going to be able to get into that state somehow. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes if we work together, and just to relax, and you will know that you are in a session with me, and your eyes are closed, and I'm on the other side of the screen. And at any time you can open your eyes, but you're not going to do this because you understand the process. If you expect to be in a state of trance, it's going to be affecting the process, because you're going to think, oh, I'm still aware, it's not working, it's rubbish. So now you're going to sabotage the whole process. But if you understand that it's okay, I'm aware, and it happens, and it's not a problem. I'm just going to close my eyes, I'm going to have a chit chat with Didi and see what happens. And at some point, you'll be surprised. Most people, I think everyone, eventually get hypnotized by the end of it, because they start to connect with me and to let go of resistance and protection. They start to trust me, essentially. But it's a process. It takes someone with a lot of experience to make this happen, I have to say. But we all get hypnotized. And this is why people don't realize enough. You hypnotize yourself every day. We all do. Whenever we suffer from anything, is because we have hypnotized ourselves into reminding ourselves of who we believe we are, and that we create the problems. So it's actually things like, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, I'm not capable. We are self-hypnotizing ourselves by thinking those thoughts. And as we do that, now we're going to feel it. We're going to fulfill that prophecy every day, one day at a time. We hypnotize ourselves every morning as soon as we wake up. And so if you can hypnotize yourself, someone else can do that as well. We all hypnotize one another. Anyone that we look up to is going to be, if we look up to someone, if it's someone that is important to us, when they say something, it's going to have a much greater impact on us at a subconscious level than someone that we don't care about or that we don't know. So yeah. And so back to politics. This is why some politicians are very good, because they know how to hypnotize people with their charisma, with their voice, with their certainty, because they remind them of some people that they looked up to when they were younger. BW, reprogram my brain, but meditation is not easy. I need to stop think and not successful. Yes, it's not meant to be easy. And also meditation is not something that you can force. And so meditation is not about, I'm going to meditate to make this happen. It's more about, I'm going to do whatever type of meditation I can do. And then eventually I will become better at it, and then something will happen. Meditation has to be easy. If your meditation is not easy or simple, it's not the right protocol for you. There's a lot of different systems. Choose something that is simple and easy for you. Pumpkin Puff. Hi Didi, how are you today? I'm all right. Not bad. I've got a little bit of a problem with my foot, with my gout. But other than that, I'm good. How about you? Oops. Shredat. How to deal better with grief. I just lost my cat after 8 years, and he was like a best friend, work buddy, and son to me. It was very sudden from one day to another. You want to change the narrative. If your cat has been gone for 8 years, and if you still think about it and suffer from it, it's because you are still thinking it from the position of, I lost my cat, I miss my cat, I want my cat to be there. And as long as you do this, you're going to create suffering and grief. Instead, what you want to realize is that you have not lost your cat, because your cat didn't belong to you. We don't lose people, we don't lose animals. We share experiences together. And at some point, one of us will part first. And it's just the natural course of life and things. And so change the narrative and tell yourself, I'm so glad, I'm so happy, I'm so grateful that I spent so much time with my cat. It was amazing. Thank you, cat. And then now you are back into the universe, and I'm going to cherish those memories. I'm going to appreciate all the things we've done together. But now that you're not here, I can still focus on my life. You can always get another cat at some point, or a dog, or some birds, or whatever. And so it's just about changing your narrative. After 8 years, you should be able to do this. When we first lose someone or an animal that is very important, it's difficult at first. And this is what we talk about when we say the stages of grief. But after 8 years, it's more about changing just the narrative. Be thankful, be grateful that you had that experience with your cat. But then remind yourself, we're all here to experience a moment, and we all will die. And so your cat is gone. A lot of people will go also throughout your life. And at some point you will go and leave people behind, and they will miss you. And so you want to just change, reframe the narrative. Think, my cat is there in my heart, like me and my dogs. They're there. And whenever I think about them, whenever I feel a bit sad, I do this, and now I remember my dog. I can remember how they feel, how they smell, the temperature, their weight. I remember everything. And in that moment, they're with me, and I'm better. And that's it. But also there may be some aspect of depression. Do you believe that you suffer from depression? Because if you have other conditions going on, it's going to be much more difficult for us to reframe. Me, how did you get into the work you do? It just happened naturally. I suffered from a lot of things myself for a long, long time. I have a lot of conditions as well. But eventually, I was lucky. Things started to change. I started to have some aha moments. And then things accelerated. And eventually, I realized that through my own research, of wanting to change, I could actually use some of those tools to help others. And so I've learned some more tools to make this happen. And then eventually I opened my practice 8 years ago. And ever since I've been helping people. It's just a natural evolution of me and my life. Very often people who do what I do have been through some problems themselves and they have been trying to solve it. And so through the process of learning how to deal with me, I've learned how to deal with others and how to help others as well. How to help others as well. Reborn. If life ends in death, what's the real purpose of being born at all? And what are we meant to take from this journey? So if you think about like that, it's because you're looking at it from the perspective of the human. What's the point of being born if we are dying? Well, the point is to live. The point is to experience the whole of it, is to know what it is, a baby, an adult, an old person, and to die. If there was no death, your life would have no flavor. If there was no death, nothing would matter. You would do nothing because I've got eternity. So I can't be bothered with anything. And whatever that you enjoy will become boring at some point because you will have explored all of it. It is precisely the fact that it is finite that makes life precious, special, interesting, beautiful, meaningful. Right? And so it's not about what's the point of me being born if I die? Precisely because we die, our life is special. Change the narrative as well. Realize that what makes life beautiful is the very fact that it ends. And now we need to tackle also spiritual belief. I believe that this life is not the only life. I don't believe that there's a death. I believe that consciousness is ongoing. We only move from one plane of reality to another. That's it. But this is another conversation. Ava, thanks, Didi. Much love to you. Thank you so much, Ava. Reborn, did your grief thoughts about Alfie change over time, or do you still experience the same type of grief like 6 months ago? Does time heal, and if so, why? I didn't have so much grief, to be honest with you. I felt a little bit sad because there's a part of me. Sadness exists to tell us when something important is going away. And so I experienced this as a human being. But I was always very prepared. And it's the same with Lily and Leon, the other dogs before Alfie. And it's the same with every human being and everyone in my life. I have fully accepted the notion of mortality a long time ago. Even when my dad died, I didn't cry, I didn't feel sad, because I know that he's there. I know that he's not anywhere else but here. There's nowhere else but here. We only see that because it's part of our illusion, so that we can experience that human experience. But everyone and everything is always here. There's nothing else. And so, yes, my experience with grief is very different. I've been through a lot of grief when I was younger, when I was a child, because of all the things that I had to go through. And so I've cried all my tears, and I grieved all my grievance then for the whole of humanity. And so now I'm very, very at peace with mortality, including my own. I want to make the most of that life, but if it stops tomorrow, I'm okay. I'm genuinely at peace with that. I have no queries about it because I know that I believe in reincarnation. I believe that we are always experiencing something, and life and death are just an illusion that we must believe in order to know what it is to be human. We must have fear, we must have uncertainty, we must feel helpless and so little because it's part of our human experience. Shredat, wow, thank you. Pumpkin Puff, oh no, sorry about your food, but glad you're in good spirit. I've been struggling with my thoughts and trauma, been oddly angry for the last few days, and I'm not sure how I'm not processing my feelings. We can talk about this if you want. Me, it helps you to help others, I get it. Okay, yes. It's not that it helps you. No, actually not. It doesn't help me to help others, not at all. I help others because I can, that's it. I don't do it because it helps me. I help myself, and I always put myself first, and everything that I do was for myself first. But because I became good at it, now I can help others, and now, for the last 8 years, I've been enjoying it. I found my thing. It's not that it's helping me, it fulfills me. It's me. I found who I am, I found what I do, I found out what I am about. This is the thing that excites me, that stimulates me. And so, in that sense, it does help me, but it's not helping as in my own journey. it fulfills me because it's the thing that I finally found out about myself, that I'm good at, that I enjoy doing naturally 24/7 all the time. So yes, it doesn't help me in the way that I think you are saying. It's more that it is who I am. People ask me, why do you do what you do? Because it's me. Because I can't see myself doing anything else. This is what I am. This is what I do. I hope it makes sense. Me, do you believe in reincarnation? Yes. Or does our soul consciousness level up if we learn the lessons we're supposed to? I believe in all sorts of things. I believe in many things, and it changes all the time, and it doesn't matter. For me, belief, I just believe. And so I choose the belief that supports my happiness, my well-being, my focus, my feeling of peace and balance. And so I believe in reincarnation. I believe in all sorts of things. I don't know yet precisely, and I don't care. I don't need to know everything. I don't need to follow Buddhism. I don't need to follow Hinduism. I don't need to follow this or that spiritualism. I just understand some notions that are very overlapping anyway when you think about all those spiritual schools of thought. But it's more about, what do I need to know? I need to know that consciousness is ongoing, so I don't need to fear anything. Remember, I was talking about fear and shame being the problems for everything, the cause of all of our problems. And so one of the greatest fear, as far as our humanity is concerned, is the afterlife. And so appreciating that there's reincarnation, there's quantum physics, there are all universe and all realities all existing at the same time, and I just happen to be here and there because it's my story at this point in time, then it's much, much easier. And it feels right. My intuition is telling me it's feeling at peace with that sort of belief. Pumpkin puff. I've tried box breathing, walking around, journaling, but it feels like I never actually process my feelings and let them go. For big negative state, take big actions. If you feel really, really bad, go for a walk, 1 hour, non-stop. Listen to some music in a park. I would do that. For different states, we have different tools, but there's also different level of intensity, different level of amplitude, different level of duration. So you must adapt, you must recalibrate, you must use the tool that you have in a way that that supports your actual state, right? So if I was you and I've tried everything, keep trying, make it better, try something else until it happens. A lot of people say to me, breathing doesn't work, and I say to them, it always works if you keep doing until it works. No matter how long it takes, it will work if you keep doing it. But people, very often, they just give up. They can't be bothered. And that's because of helplessness. It's not their fault. It's because they've been taught, I'm helpless, I'm not good enough. If I try and it didn't work, it doesn't work, then it confirms that I'm not enough. I don't deserve the good things in life. I can't heal. Others can heal, but not me. And those are our self-saboteur coming, trying to prevent us to get better. Right? And so be aware of this and just keep going, keep trying, keep doing until it works. Right? And something will work. You will find out in that process what works best for you. You will discover some new systems and you will make it work. You always have the power. You always have options. You always have new things that you can discover. It's all there. The universe is everything in space and time. And so there's everything there. You just need to learn how to look in the right place. You need to keep looking until you find it. That's it. To every problem, there's a solution. To every question, there's an answer. The moment a question is created, so is its solution. The moment a problem is created, so is its solution answer. It's all there. You have to find it. But if you tell yourself, I tried everything, doesn't work, it only means one thing. Your self-saboteur is hijacking your mind and telling you, you're not good enough, you're not going to make it, you're a loser. And you're believing it. You're allowing for that voice to hypnotize yourself. Don't allow it. Tell yourself, shut the F up. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to keep going until it happens because I deserve it, because I want to feel better. I've done it in the past. I know that I can do it again. I'm going to keep going and trying. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to jump. I'm going to do some punching in the bag. I'm going to run. I'm going to dance. I'm going to hug a tree. I'm going to shake. Whatever works for me, keep trying until it works. And it will work. And you will take some note and you remember, that worked for me, even though I thought that it was not going to work. Okay? Pumpkin Puff, thank you for the little hearts. Jennifer Carras, I believe humans were meant to live this way. Which way? Which way do you mean? I've lost the flow. I'm not sure which conversation you are referring to. Reborn, is practicing self-reflection a healthy habit for growth, or can it sometimes come from insecurity? So you are conflating two different things. Self-reflection is looking inward. Now the energy that drives this is a different thing. We can do things out of empowerment or out of disempowerment. So it depends, I don't know. So some people may self-reflect because of insecurity and some out of wanting self-empowerment. But to be honest with you, now I'm thinking about it, I don't believe that we ever self-reflect out of insecurity. I think you are maybe thinking about something else. When we look inside of us, we are basically reflecting on how we feel and how we remember some things from the past. And there's no insecurity about this. I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mind expanding your thoughts, please? Self-reflection, I don't see anything bad about it. I think you are conflating self-reflection with not opening yourself to the world. And that's a whole different thing. Chizu, what we believe in is like the wind. We don't physically see it, but we feel it. Best regards. The way that I see it is that what we believe creates our reality. What we choose to believe in eventually manifests structure, shape, designs a reality for us. Our reality is literally the manifestation of our belief. Pumpkin Puff. If I feel triggered, I have BPD outburst, I shame, feel like I can't forgive or trust, then I just wonder why I'm even here and dive into a depressive episode. Okay, so if you have BPD, it's normal. It's normal. It's normal. You have BPD. So what you want to do is to address your BPD. That's it. Right? It's like telling me, I've got a broken leg. It's such annoying. I can't walk. I can't do the things I want to do. It's normal. You have a broken leg. So what do? You fix that broken leg. That's it. Accept that you have this condition. It's not your fault. You didn't choose your trauma. You didn't choose to have BPD. I didn't either. No one did. But this is the state of things. You are going to go through all those things because you have BPD. And so your priority should be, how am I going to make sure that every day I do my best to address that BPD so that eventually I feel better about myself. I don't need to explode out of rage, out of nothing. I don't need to split. I don't need to hyper focus on stuff that no one does. And so yeah. If you have BPD, make this a priority. Pumpkin Puff. Reborn at Shizu. It's like Wi-Fi. If we don't see it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Instead, it does, and so many other things that surround us even themselves. Peter Sena, what are your thoughts on the proper use of cannabis if that exists? There's no proper or improper. We do whatever we do because we believe that it's useful to us. And so even if someone is addicted to it in a way that is unhealthy, gives them psychosis, paranoia, for them it's still something that they're choosing to do because it allows them to be in a state that is better than the alternative. So there's a time and a place for everything. Everything is contextual, and we need to really take one case at a time. So that's how I would look at it. Nothing is good or bad. It's about why we use it in this moment. What does it bring to us, and how we can get rid of it or still use it if we still need it. If sometime is still the best option until we expand our level of self-awareness and we can realize that other things that we can do. But at a general level, we want to do our best to let go of the habit of cannabis, alcohol, any drugs, anything like that, because we have a system that is meant to function in and of itself, on its own, without the help of anything. If we take anything else, now we are going against that system, and so we're not going to allow for ourselves to flourish, to be as we should be. I hope it makes sense. Chizu, you obviously didn't understand what I wrote because you wrote exactly the same. Everything that is beautiful for you, Wi-Fi is not natural. No, I didn't get it. I'm afraid I didn't. We can talk more about this if you want to clarify. Pumpkin Puff. Okay, I will try doing big actions for big reactions. Yes. And try not to get in my head when things are not working fast enough. Yes. Pumpkin Puff, it's good to hear, it's normal, but I also wish there was something that I could do to fix myself, but I understand. So what you want to realize is that this is your life. Your life is your journey of healing at this point in time. Right? This is your priority. And so instead of thinking, I want everything to be perfect, learn how to accept yourself for who you are at this point in time. No one is perfect, especially when we have BPD. We have a lot of shame and guilt because of the things that we do, the things that we create in our lives. But accept that this is me and it's not my fault. I didn't choose my trauma. Learn how to love yourself and appreciate the good things about yourself. And that will help you heal quicker and better. If you carry shame and guilt, it's going to slow down everything. And with BPD, it's so difficult because BPD is one of those conditions that are creating so much problems because society hates everything that we are. The way we behave goes against everything. And so learn how to love yourself and realize I'm on a journey. This is my priority. And I'm going to do my best to focus on the progress. Don't expect to change tomorrow. It's not going to happen. But if you can appreciate who you are and appreciate your progress, now you're starting to cultivate self-love, self-forgiveness, self-compassion, and that goes a long way when it comes to BPD or anything at all. Okay? Me, doesn't BPD have the highest rate, suicidal rate for mental personality disorder? I don't know if it's got the highest. I wouldn't be surprised. I hear also sometimes people say this has got the most, some other things. It doesn't really matter. But it's true that BPD does bring a lot of suicidal thoughts. I've been there myself for many years. But it's not just BPD, and it's not a competition anyway. Yeah. I think everything is always a combination of many things. So first you have your condition, but you also have your upbringing. What sort of parents, what sort of upbringing, what sort of environment did you have, what things did you go through, what life brought to you so that it added to your already pre-existing condition. All of those things are going to create our propensity to unalive ourselves. Some people with very little conditions still do this, and we didn't see it coming, and yet we change. We are always the result of many things all happening all throughout our lives. So it's never just this or that. I don't think we should compartmentalize. However, it's true that many people with BPD end their lives because there's a lot of shame and guilt. We really believe that we are evil. We are effed up. There's something very wrong about us because we keep doing things that make our lives worse. William A., love your videos. Thank you. Reborn, is there an effective way to reach a completely thoughtless state to bring the mind into truth and stillness? Yes, there are. It's a process, but you don't choose it. It happens when you are ready. Right? So you practice meditation, you practice mindfulness, and at some point, some of us will experience some moment where, suddenly we realize we're in a different state. And that's very special. But you don't choose it, you don't make it happen. It's a happening that happens when everything is aligned. So we don't choose this, we don't control this, we don't decide this. But essentially the practice of mindfulness and meditation and healing as well, letting go of our baggage, of our blocks, of our burden, will allow this eventually to happen. But it's not something that we can decide. Pumpkin Puff, what would, in your option, be the best tip to start working on not holding shame? It depends for everyone. It depends for everyone. But shame is essentially self-hatred, and so to let go of shame, we must stop hating ourselves. So it's about learning how to love ourselves. But when people will ask me, how do we love ourselves? By stop hating ourselves. We are born self-loving. All babies love themselves, but as we grow up, we get infected by the fear of the adults, and that's how we end up the way we are. We get tainted by the shame of the adults. We feel shameful as well. And so we want to be essentially letting go of all the things we have picked up over the years and remember how lovable we are. That's the process. And as we do this, shame will just disintegrate eventually at some point. William, I found out I have ADHD. Get an assessment. Do you think people with ADHD have it harder in office jobs? Yes, of course. I have been miserable for the last few years because I changed to an office job. If we have ADHD, it's going to be very hard for us to do a lot of things that are expected from people who have an office job. And so because of that, it's going to be much, much harder for you indeed. And also the way you behave is going to be judged by your colleagues. William, I used to move around a lot, and I think that might have helped me, but I'm settled now and I'm miserable. So you can address your mental health problems by moving, indeed. Are you talking about the gym? Are you talking about moving from a place to another? I just realized it's 8:10. Guys, I gotta go. Sorry. I come here live every Wednesdays and every Fridays from 6 till 8 p.m. UK time. So I'm going to go now. William, if you enjoy this, do come back and we can carry on the conversation next time. I'm back Friday from 6 p.m. UK time up till 8 p.m. or just a bit more. And so if you enjoyed this, guys, please subscribe if you haven't yet, and know that I come live every Wednesdays and Fridays from 6 p.m. UK time up till 8 p.m. so we can continue the conversation next time. If you go on TikTok, I'm also on TikTok. I think that's it. Let me read the last comment. Livia, hi, how can I stop sabotaging myself? Thank you. I will talk about next time. If you can come Friday and ask me again, because I will forget, I would love to talk about self-sabotage. It's one of my specialism. I can really talk about it in great depth. William A, thank you. Shredder, thank you. Reborn, thank you so much. Great to see you after a long time. Thank you. Me, thank you. Asia, ciao. Peter Senna, thank you. Yes, thank you all. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the next one already. Make sure that you subscribe, follow me, ask me anything. If you have any comment section, or ask me next time. Okay. The roast. I am from India. Love you a lot. Thank you so much. The roast from India. Livia. Yes, thank you. Guys, love you all. Take care. Look after yourself. Remember to be kind to others if you can. If you can't, at least be kind to yourself. All right. And also check my long form video that I put out today. Every Wednesday, I put one long form video on YouTube, and it's called Stop Taking Things Personally. And on the thumbnail, it goes Bulletproof Self-Esteem. So if you have a chance, please watch it and let me know what you think about it. Okay? I'm going to say goodbye now. Tia, thank you. Thank you, Tia. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.